In the heart of the Sierra Nevada, a realm of stone and silence rises. Yosemite, a sanctuary sculpted by the relentless artistry of earth and ice. Over 100 million years ago, molten granite surged upward, cooling slowly beneath the surface to form the colossal monoliths that now dominate the horizon. These ancient plutons, revealed by eons of uplift and erosion, stand as enduring monuments to the planet's restless interior. During the last ice age, titanic glaciers advanced and retreated, carving deep U-shaped valleys and leaving behind polished domes and sheer cliffs. The Merced and Tuolumne glaciers gouged the land, their immense weight grinding stone into smooth expanses and scattering erratic boulders across the high country. Waterfalls now tumble from hanging valleys, their origins traced to the ancient rivers of ice that once dominated this landscape. The park's geology is a living archive, each outcrop and fissure revealing a chapter of tectonic upheaval and glacial sculpting. Granite spires rise above talus slopes, their surfaces adorned with lichen and moss that slowly break down the rock, nurturing the first threads of life. Feldspar and quartz crystals embedded in the stone catch the sun, hinting at the mineral wealth locked within these ancient mountains. At the base of these formidable cliffs, dense forests of pine, fir and cedar take root in thin, mineral-rich soils. Here, ancient sequoias tower above the canopy, their massive trunks storing centuries of history. The interplay of shade and sunlight fosters a mosaic of habitats where ferns unfurl and wildflowers bloom in fleeting displays of colour. Meadows unfurl in the valley, nourished by glacial melt and seasonal floods. Here mule deer graze in the cool dawn, their movements barely disturbing the mist. Coyotes slip through the shadows, attuned to every rustle. Beneath the surface, mosses and fungi decompose fallen giants, recycling nutrients and sustaining the intricate web of life. Elevation transforms the landscape from sunlit meadows to wind-battered alpine tundra. As altitude increases, forests give way to stunted pines and resilient shrubs. On the highest ridges, icy winds sculpt snow into delicate cornices, while rare wildflowers cling to life in sheltered cracks, enduring extremes of temperature and exposure. Winter descends with silent authority, blanketing the land in deep snow. Herds of deer and solitary coyotes are driven to lower elevations, seeking sustenance among the frozen grasses. The hush is broken only by the crunch of hooves and paws and the distant croak of a raven circling above the crystalline expanse. With the return of spring, sunlight coaxes the snow to retreat, sending rivulets cascading down granite slopes. Streams swell and carve fresh channels, breathing life into the awakening forest. Black bears emerge from their dens, blinking in the new light, while birds return to fill the air with song. Animals ascend, following the receding snowline to fresh pastures. Every inhabitant is shaped by the park's shifting rhythms. The puma glides through shadowed undergrowth, its senses honed by the demands of stealth and hunger. Peregrine falcons spiral above the cliffs, their vision piercing the distance. Beneath the bark, insects and ants orchestrate the hidden symphony of the forest floor, recycling life from death. The wolf, a recent returnee, threads through dense woodland, its presence echoing through the ecosystem. Packs move with silent coordination, their interactions with prey and rivals subtly shifting the balance of life, influencing populations and behaviors across the food web. Predator and prey engage in a silent, perpetual contest, each encounter a testament to adaptation and instinct. The strategies honed over millennia shape the intricate web that sustains this wild domain, where every life is both hunter and hunted. Through the turning of seasons, Yosemite's granite and ice bear witness to ingenious survival and fierce struggle. From thunderous storms to tranquil dawns, the landscape is a stage for resilience and transformation. This Odyssey will reveal the hidden dramas and remarkable adaptations that define this untamed kingdom, where nature alone reigns, and the legacy of stone and ice endures. Winter unfurls its icy dominion over Yosemite, transforming the valley into a realm of crystalline silence and stark beauty. The air sharpens, biting at every exposed surface, while granite cliffs and ancient pines disappear beneath a seamless, glistening shroud. Snow muffles the world, absorbing sound until only the faint sigh of wind through frozen branches remains, a hush so deep it feels sacred. Beneath this thick, icy mantle, most creatures retreat into the earth's embrace. Burrows, dens, and hollowed logs become sanctuaries where warmth is hoarded like treasure. Some animals, wrapped in layers of fur or feathers, slow their heartbeats and slip into torpor, their bodies conserving every precious calorie. Others, driven by necessity, must adapt to the relentless cold, venturing out into a world where food is scarce and every movement is a calculated risk. The puma, Yosemite's elusive apex predator, becomes a phantom in the snow. Her tawny coat, dusted with frost, blends seamlessly with the pale undergrowth and dappled shadows. Broad, fur-lined paws act as natural snowshoes, distributing her weight so she glides silently over deep drifts. Her muscles ripple beneath her winter coat as she stalks mule deer, themselves driven from the high country by the relentless freeze. Each step is measured, each breath controlled, for in this season a single miscalculation could mean days without food. Stella's jays, electric blue against the monochrome world, rely on their astonishing memory to survive. Months before, they cached acorns in secret crevices and beneath the leaf litter. Now they flit from snow-laden branch to branch, excavating these hidden stores with precision, often outwitting squirrels and other foragers. Their sharp calls echo through the stillness, a rare burst of sound in the quiet forest. The snowshoe hare, now cloaked in a pristine white coat, becomes nearly invisible, a living ghost among the drifts. Its oversized, fur-padded feet keep it atop the powder, allowing swift, bounding escapes across open snowfields. With most vegetation buried, it gnaws on twigs, bark, and the tender shoots of willow and alder, its survival dependent on camouflage, agility, and an ever-watchful eye for danger. As dusk falls, the puma's world sharpens. Her vision, tuned to the faintest glimmer of moonlight on snow, pierces the darkness. She moves with spectral grace, each step deliberate, every muscle coiled for the hunt. The cold amplifies every sound, so she listens for the faintest rustle, a hare's leap, a jay's flutter, her senses honed by hunger and the unforgiving night. The hare, ever vigilant, balances hunger with the constant threat of predation, darting from shadow to shadow beneath the watchful gaze of the forest. Jays, meanwhile, pry open frozen acorns, their beaks chipping away at winter's locked pantry, extracting vital calories from each hard-won morsel. Every action is a gamble, every meal a victory. Across the snow, a tapestry of tracks tells the story of survival. Delicate prints of hare and jay, the heavy stride of the puma, the looping trails of mice and voles. Each mark is a record of choices made in the night, of close calls and narrow escapes. Predator and prey are locked in a daily contest of wit, endurance, and adaptation, their fates intertwined by the demands of winter. Blizzards sweep through the forest, transforming the landscape in minutes. Visibility shrinks to mere feet as snow whirls in blinding sheets, coating every surface in ice. Yet life persists. Coyotes, their coats thick and bristling, scavenge for carrion left by the storm. Woodpeckers hammer at frozen bark, searching for dormant insects sealed within. Beneath the snow, voles tunnel through hidden passageways, insulated from the biting wind above, their world a labyrinth of warmth and secrecy. The puma's silent pursuit, the jay's ingenuity, and the hare's nimble dash are all vital threads in Yosemite's winter tapestry. Each species, shaped by millennia of evolution, brings its own strategies to the season's challenges, some relying on stealth, others on memory, and still others on sheer speed or the art of concealment. As dawn breaks, golden light spills across the snow, igniting the forest in a brief, radiant glow. Shadows retreat, and the pulse of life stirs anew. Jays call, hares emerge from hiding, and the puma melts into the trees, her night's work done. Even in the coldest months, the intricate balance of the ecosystem endures, each animal playing its part in the grand, unbroken cycle. Winter's reign is absolute, harsh, unyielding, and transformative. It sculpts survivors from those who endure, shaping every creature and every tree. In Yosemite, every breath, every step is a testament to nature's relentless will to persist and to the quiet, fierce beauty of life beneath the snow. As winter's icy grip loosens, Yosemite awakens in a cascade of transformation. Blankets of snow shrink from the sun's gentle warmth, their crystalline remnants seeping into the thirsty earth. Meltwater gathers in rivulets, weaving intricate patterns across granite slopes before plunging over cliffs in roaring waterfalls. These torrents breathe new life into the valley, saturating the soil and swelling rivers that meander through ancient forests and open meadows. Mosses and lichens, dormant for months, unfurl in the damp air, painting boulders and tree trunks with vibrant greens. Across the awakening meadows, mule deer step softly from the shadowed woods, their coats shedding the muted tones of winter for a richer, sunlit hue. Pregnant does, bellies heavy with new life, nibble eagerly on the first flush of grasses and delicate wildflowers, lupine, shooting star, and buttercup. They move with measured care, seeking out secluded thickets and fern-lined hollows, where the air is thick with the scent of damp earth and blooming violets, preparing for the imminent arrival of their fawns. Concealed within the lush undergrowth, newborn fawns lie curled and silent, their dappled coats mirroring the shifting patterns of sunlight and shadow. The forest floor, now carpeted with sprouting bracken and wild strawberry, offers both nourishment and sanctuary. Each fawn's stillness is a delicate strategy, a silent plea for invisibility amid the renewed bustle of predators and prey. High above, peregrine falcons return to their ancestral cliffs, their sharp cries echoing against the granite walls. With the valley teeming below, they launch into the brisk air, wings slicing through the wind as they patrol their territory. Each dive is a display of precision, targeting flocks of warblers and swallows that have arrived with the warming season. The falcon's presence signals the return of balance to the skies as prey and predator resume their ancient dance. On narrow, wind-battered ledges, falcon chicks huddle beneath the watchful gaze of their parents. downy feathers ruffle in the mountain breeze as the adults scan the horizon for returning prey. Each feeding is a lesson in survival, the chicks' sharp calls mingling with the distant rush of waterfalls, a new generation poised to inherit the heights. In the saturated lowlands, Pacific tree frogs emerge from their winter slumber, their emerald skin glistening with dew. They cling to reeds and broad-leafed marsh plants, their throats swelling as they call out in a chorus that ripples across the wetlands. Dragonflies dart above the water's surface, while clusters of frog spawn cling to submerged stems, a promise of future life in these ephemeral pools. As the first rays of sunlight crest the horizon, the valley bursts into colour. Dogwoods unfurl their ivory blossoms, while carpets of phlox and monkeyflower brighten the forest floor. Jays and woodpeckers flit between budding branches, their calls weaving through the morning air. Squirrels leap from mossy logs, and the rustle of small mammals stirs beneath the ferns. Every movement, every note, is a testament to the intricate web of life. Spring's vibrant renewal unfolding in every corner of Yosemite. In the hush of early spring, beneath a tangle of roots and moss, a black bear's eyelids flutter open. Months of hibernation have left its body transformed, heart thudding slow and steady, muscles preserved by a secret alchemy of nature, fat stores nearly spent. The den, once a sanctuary of darkness and silence, now echoes with the bear's first tentative breaths as it senses the world beyond its earthen walls. The bear emerges, blinking against the pale sunlight that filters through budding branches. Its limbs are stiff, fur matted, and belly hollow, but instinct guides every movement. It stretches, vertebrae popping, reacquainting itself with the subtle textures of soil and stone. Each breath draws in the sense of a world reborn, damp earth, unfurling ferns, and the distant musk of other creatures stirring from their own winter retreats. Driven by thirst, the bear lumbers toward a nearby creek, its tongue lapping at the icy water that rushes with snowmelt. Hunger gnaws at its belly, so it scours the forest floor for the first green shoots, delicate fiddleheads, tender grasses, and the starchy roots of lilies. Sometimes it overturns rotting logs, exposing colonies of ants and beetles, or licks dew from leaves, savouring every drop. If luck allows, it may catch the scent of a mule deer fawn hidden in the undergrowth, but such fortune is rare and fleeting. With powerful claws, the bear rakes through leaf litter and soil, unearthing bulbs swollen with stored energy. Each dig disturbs the microcosm beneath, awakening beetles, scattering seeds, and aerating the earth. In its search for nourishment, the bear inadvertently engineers the forest floor, creating pockets of sunlight where seedlings will soon sprout and thrive. Every step the bear takes leaves a signature on the land. Its broad paws compress the soil, forming shallow depressions that collect rainwater, tiny pools where amphibians will lay eggs and thirsty birds will drink. As it brushes past shrubs, it scatters pollen and seeds, unwittingly planting the next generation of wildflowers and berry bushes. The bear's appetite is boundless and eclectic. It plucks last year's shriveled berries from thorny canes, raids ant colonies for protein-rich larvae, and scavenges the remains of winter-killed animals. Each meal is a patchwork of opportunity, and every bite helps restore the bear's strength. By consuming fruit, it swallows seeds that will later be scattered across the forest in its droppings, ensuring the renewal of plants that feed countless other creatures. The bear's presence ripples through the ecosystem. Coyotes and foxes, wary of the bear's strength, alter their hunting routes, while deer graze at the forest's edge, ever alert to the scent of their ancient rival. Smaller mammals, mice, voles and chipmunks, scavenge the leftovers from the bear's foraging, and birds swoop down to snatch insects exposed by its digging. Beneath its shaggy coat, the bear's body tells a story of survival. Muscles remain strong despite months of stillness, bones dense and unbroken. Its organs have weathered the long, fast recycling waste and conserving water with astonishing efficiency. Scientists marvel at these adaptations, hoping to unlock secrets that might one day heal human bodies, but for the bear, these are simply the tools of life. As the days lengthen, the bear wanders into sunlit clearings where wildflowers bloom in a riot of colour, lupine, shooting star, and trillium. Bees hum between blossoms, and butterflies drift on the breeze. The bear's fur brushes pollen from petal to petal, a silent partner in the dance of renewal. The bear's journey is a thread woven through the wild tapestry of Yosemite. It climbs rocky slopes, navigates tangled thickets, and crosses meadows where the grass grows thick and green. Its choices, where to feed, where to rest, shape the land in subtle ways, guiding the flow of life through the seasons. Sometimes the bear ascends a sturdy pine, escaping a rival or surveying its domain. It rubs its back against rough bark, leaving behind a musky signature that tells other bears of its presence. Ravens and jays gather nearby, hoping for scraps, while squirrels chatter warnings from the canopy above. Each dawn, as mist curls through the trees and birds greet the sun with a chorus of song, the black bear moves through a world alive with possibility. Its journey from slumber to forager is echoed in the unfurling leaves, the bursting buds, and the chorus of creatures that share this ancient, ever-renewing wilderness. Summer unfurls across Yosemite, draping the meadows in golden light and stirring a world where every shadow hides a story of survival. Beneath the tranquil surface, a silent contest unfolds, predators and prey locked in an ancient, ever-shifting dance. The grey wolf, once a ghost in these woods, now reclaims its place. Its haunting howls ripple through the dawn, a signal to rivals and kin alike. Each note marks territory, but also weaves a warning. Here the hunt is never far away. In the hush before sunrise, a pack led by a seasoned alpha pair glides through the grass. Their eyes fix on a mule deer fawn, momentarily separated from its mother by a tangle of wildflowers. The wolves split, each member slipping into position, their movements silent and precise. The meadow's calm is shattered by the sudden burst of pursuit. The deer scatter in a flurry of hooves and panic, but the wolves' chase is relentless. Not every hunt ends in a meal. Sometimes the fawn escapes, sometimes the wolves go hungry. Yet each attempt hones the skills of the young, teaching them patience, teamwork, and the cost of failure. The deer, in turn, grow ever more vigilant, their movements shaping the very landscape. Where once they grazed unchecked, now they move cautiously, giving battered meadows a chance to recover and wildflowers to bloom. Songbirds dart among the blossoms, their nests safer now that the deer graze less. Beavers, sensing the return of lush banks, reinforce their dams, shaping streams that nourish the land. Dragonflies skim the air above thriving wetlands, while insects buzz in the warm light, each life responding to the subtle shifts in the balance of power. High above, Sierra Nevada bighorn sheep cling to the cliffs, their world a vertical maze of stone and shadow. A lamb just weeks old, tests its footing on a narrow ledge, watched by its mother's wary eyes. Every step is a lesson in caution, for danger can come from above as well as below. The sheep graze quickly, building reserves for the coming snows. Their hooves grip the granite, each step a gamble between nourishment and exposure. They remain ever alert, scanning for the shadow of a golden eagle or the distant silhouette of a wolf. The cliffs offer sanctuary, but only to those who master their perils. On a wind-swept slope, two rams clash in a thunderous contest. Horns collide, echoing across the granite. The victor claims the right to mate, while the defeated lingers at the edge, waiting for another chance. These battles shape the herd, ensuring only the strongest genes endure. Sometimes a lone wolf appears on a distant ridge, eyes fixed on the sheep below. The sheep freeze, muscles tensed, every sense straining for the slightest movement. But the wolf, reading the risk, moves on. Today the cliffs are fortress enough. Across the meadows, marmots whistle sharp warnings, their calls rippling through the grass. A coyote slinks low, hoping to ambush a careless ground squirrel. Red-tailed hawks circle overhead, their keen eyes searching for movement below. Every creature is both hunter and hunted, each day a delicate balance of risk and reward. The wolf's return and the sheep's resilience are more than tales of survival. They are the heartbeat of a wild kingdom. Each animal's fate is woven into the next, their struggles and triumphs shaping the land itself. In this fleeting season, every life leaves its mark, each track pressed into the earth a testament to the drama, tension, and renewal that define Yosemite's wild summer. Here, predator and prey write the story of the land, one heartbeat at a time. As the last warmth of summer slips away, Yosemite transforms in 1,000 subtle ways. The air sharpens, daylight wanes, and golden leaves drift to the forest floor, carpeting the earth in a mosaic of colour. Beneath this beauty, a silent urgency pulses. Every living thing senses the narrowing window before winter's grip. Sap in the trees slows, chlorophyll drains from leaves, and the forest canopy thins, letting in crisp, slanting sunlight. For every creature, the clock is ticking. Winter's shadow grows longer with each passing day. On the exposed talus slopes, the American pika works tirelessly. Each mouthful of wildflowers is carefully chosen, dried, and stacked into hidden hay piles, its only lifeline through the snowbound months ahead. The pika must judge which plants will keep best, selecting stems rich in nutrients and avoiding those that rot. Every trip is a gamble, as predators and sudden storms threaten its progress. Around the pika, alpine plants drop seeds and wither, their life cycles compressed into the brief autumn window, ensuring the next generation will sprout when the snow melts. The pika's tiny body is finely tuned to the cold, but even a slight rise in temperature can spell disaster. As climate shifts, their alpine world shrinks, making each autumn more urgent than the last. Frost creeps in earlier each night, and the pika must race to finish its stores before the first heavy snow seals the landscape in silence. Deep in the shadowy forests, the Pacific marten weaves through tangled undergrowth. It hunts with silent precision, relying on the shelter of ancient trees and the abundance of prey fattened by summer's bounty. Squirrels and voles cache seeds and nuts, while fungi erupt from the damp earth, feeding insects and small mammals. Every successful hunt is vital. Fat reserves mean the difference between life and death when the snows arrive. The marten's keen senses pick up the faintest rustle, every movement a potential meal or threat. The marten's presence is a sign of a thriving, undisturbed forest. Meanwhile, the wolverine prowls the high country alone, its powerful jaws cracking frozen bones to reach the nourishing marrow within. It covers vast distances, searching for carrion and opportunity, undeterred by the deepening cold. Jays and woodpeckers stash food in bark crevices while the undergrowth thins, exposing hidden trails and burrows. Wolverines demand solitude and endless wild terrain. Their survival depends on the integrity of these remote landscapes. Fragmentation means extinction. As the first snow flurries swirl across the peaks, the wolverine's world grows quieter, but the search for food never ends. Across Yosemite, every animal is driven by instinct and necessity. Pikas race to finish their haystacks, martens hunt with renewed urgency, and wolverines roam ceaselessly. Deer browse on the last green shoots, chipmunks fill their burrows with seeds, and owls hunt as dusk falls earlier each day. Each is locked in a relentless contest with the shortening days and the threat of snow. Autumn is a season of transformation and tension. Food must be stored, dens reinforced, and every action calculated for survival. Trees shed their leaves to conserve energy. Roots draw in nutrients, and streams run clearer as the rains return. In Yosemite, resilience and foresight are the only guarantees against the coming winter. Each heartbeat, each decision, a testament to the wild's enduring will to survive. As the last golden leaves spiral to the forest floor, the memory of autumn in Yosemite is woven with the presence of the California grizzly, a giant whose shadow once stretched across these valleys. In the crisp air, the grizzly's heavy footfalls pressed deep into the earth, marking trails that lingered long after the bear itself had vanished. As daylight faded, grizzlies entered a relentless hunger, scouring the land for roots and nuts hidden beneath the brittle carpet of leaves. Their search was methodical, each paw turning over stones, each snout rooting through the soil, unearthing the bounty that autumn offered before the world froze. Beneath the canopy, the grizzlies' foraging left behind a patchwork of disturbed earth, a living record of their passage. Squirrels and jays darted in their wake, scavenging what the bear unearthed, while beetles and fungi thrived in the churned soil. As prey grew scarce and the air sharpened, grizzlies turned to hunting, each successful chase echoing through the forest, sending ripples of alertness through deer herds and scattering flocks of quail into the underbrush. Their bodies thickened with fat, every meal a preparation for the hush of winter's sleep. With every toppled log and scattered stone, the grizzly sculpted the land. Fallen trunks became bridges for salamanders and voles, while upturned rocks revealed insects and seeds, feeding a hidden world beneath the surface. The bear's presence was a force, reshaping the forest, redistributing nutrients, and opening new spaces for life to flourish. Now, as the forest hushes and the chill deepens, the absence of the grizzly is felt in every silent glade. The soil lies undisturbed, the logs remain unturned, and the intricate web of autumn's activity is missing a vital thread. The black bear, smaller and more cautious, wanders through the fallen leaves, nosing for acorns and berries. It fills some gaps, but cannot match the grizzly's might or its sweeping influence on the land. The black bear's memory of autumn is quieter, its foraging gentle, its impact subtle. Where once the ground trembled beneath a giant's stride, now only the soft rustle of a solitary bear remains. The forest's rhythm has shifted, Nut caches last longer, shrubs grow denser, and the balance of competition among smaller creatures has changed. In the misty dawn, mule deer gather in the shelter of shadowed meadows, their herds moving with caution as they prepare to descend to lower ground. Flocks of juncos and warblers sweep southward, their calls threading through the fog, carrying the memory of autumn's abundance to distant lands. The landscape itself bears the imprint of change. Meadows, once churned by grisly paws, now grow thick with grass, and the silence at sunset is deeper, the valleys holding only the faintest echo of what once was. Each falling leaf is a memory, of seasons shaped by powerful lives, of ferns brushed aside by massive shoulders, of seeds scattered in the wake of a vanished titan. The forest's fragility is revealed in these small, persistent changes. Yet hope stirs in the return of the wolf. Its presence weaves new patterns through the food web, shifting the behavior of elk and deer, allowing willows and aspens to reclaim the stream banks. The wolf's memory of autumn is one of movement and renewal, its howl a signal that balance can be restored. Still, some absences endure. Empty dens lie beneath tangled roots, their entrances softened by years of fallen leaves. Trails once worn deep by heavy bodies now fade into the undergrowth, silent witnesses to a vanished era. As the seasons turn and the valley breathes beneath shifting skies, Yosemite's story is written in the language of change. Each autumn a tapestry of memory, adaptation, and resilience. The legacy of autumn endures, etched in every stone, every leaf, and every silent trail, reminding us that the wild is always in motion, shaped by those who remain and those who are lost. In the heart of Yosemite, a silent drama unfolds each day. A delicate balance shaped by countless interactions between predator and prey, plant and animal, water and stone. Here the granite walls stand as ancient witnesses to a living tapestry woven from the instincts and adaptations of its wild inhabitants. Beneath brooding skies, the ecosystem pulses with tension and harmony. Every creature, from the smallest insect to the most formidable predator, is bound by invisible threads of dependence and competition. The American pika, a tiny sentinel of the high country, scurries among the rocks, gathering grasses and wildflowers. Its survival hinges on the persistence of cool alpine meadows, where the timing of blooms and the abundance of insects dictate its fate. The pika's calls echo across the slopes, warning of approaching predators, hawks circling above, or the stealthy approach of a weasel. On the sheer cliffs, Sierra Nevada bighorn sheep move with practiced grace. Their grazing shapes the vegetation, trimming grasses and shrubs, which in turn influences the foraging patterns of smaller herbivores. Mountain lions, ever watchful, track the sheep's movements, their presence a constant reminder of the predator-prey dance that maintains population balance. As snowpacks dwindle and meadows contract, water becomes a precious thread in the web of life. The rhythm of plant growth shifts, altering the migrations of mule deer and the emergence of pollinators. Frogs and salamanders, dependent on ephemeral pools, must adapt to new cycles of abundance and scarcity. Along the forest's edge, deer slip through the shadows, browsing on tender shoots. Their movements shape the undergrowth, opening pathways for smaller mammals and ground-nesting birds. Black bears, drawn by the scent of berries and fish, patrol the riverbanks, their foraging stirring up insects and seeds, spreading life with every step. In the meadows, wildflowers bloom in a riot of colour, attracting bees, butterflies and beetles. These pollinators, in turn, ensure the next generation of plants, while providing food for birds and small mammals. The cycle is fragile. If one link falters, the effects ripple outward, touching every inhabitant of the valley. Dragonflies skim the surface of quiet ponds, hunting mosquitoes and midges. Frogs crouch on lily pads, waiting for the flicker of movement. Aquatic insects feed on decaying leaves, breaking down nutrients that nourish the roots of streamside willows and alders. Each interaction, subtle and unseen, sustains the flow of energy through the ecosystem. Yet not all relationships are harmonious. Invasive plants crowd out native wildflowers, altering the soil and starving pollinators of their preferred nectar. Non-native fish disrupt the balance in streams, preying on amphibian eggs and outcompeting native trout, unraveling food webs that have evolved over millennia. After fire sweeps through the forest, a new chapter begins. Charred earth gives way to shoots of green, fireweed, lupine and pine seedlings. These pioneers stabilize the soil, attract insects and provide cover for rodents and birds. The return of vegetation draws herbivores, which in turn lure predators, restoring the intricate web of life. Prescribed burns mimic the natural rhythm of lightning-sparked fires, clearing dense undergrowth and releasing nutrients. Fire-adapted species like the lodgepole pine depend on heat to open their cones and scatter seeds, ensuring the forest's renewal and the survival of countless creatures. High above, the peregrine falcon rides the wind, scanning for unwary prey. Its sharp eyes spot a flock of starlings, and with a burst of speed it dives, restoring balance by keeping smaller bird populations in check. The falcon's presence ripples through the ecosystem, shaping the behavior and abundance of its prey. In a hidden nest, a falcon chick stretches its wings, preparing for its first flight. Its survival depends on the abundance of prey, the shelter of cliffs, and the health of the entire food web that supports it. As dawn breaks over the valley, the chorus of life resumes. Every species, from the elusive bobcat to the fluttering butterfly, plays a part in this ever-shifting mosaic. The balance is never static. Each day brings new challenges, new alliances, and new stories, all woven into the wild heart of Yosemite. Yosemite stands at the threshold of tomorrow, its ancient granite faces catching the first light of a new day. The valley breathes quietly, shaped by eons of wind, water, and the silent work of countless living things. Within these forests, every leaf and feather is part of a complex web. The towering pines and delicate ferns shelter creatures whose lives are woven together in subtle, unseen ways. The puma, silent and elusive, moves through the shadows, while the pika, ever watchful, gathers food among the stones. Each adapts, shifting habits as seasons grow warmer and snow melts sooner. In this living mosaic, fur and feather blend with bark and moss. Some animals change their ranges, others alter their diets, all responding to the subtle cues of a changing world. When a single species vanishes, the balance shifts. Meadows once alive with movement fall silent, and the absence ripples outward, reshaping the land. Droughts parch the rivers, wildfires scar the hillsides, and ancient trees wither under unfamiliar heat. The park's wild heart is tested by forces that reach far beyond its borders. Yet after the storm, sunlight returns. Rain revives the valleys and green shoots push through the ash, signalling nature's quiet resilience. Meadows recover as new plants take root. Forests regenerate, and the subtle return of balance is marked by the cautious steps of returning wildlife. The wolf's return brings a new dynamic. Its presence reshapes the rhythms of prey and predator, restoring ancient patterns that had faded. As wolves move through the forest, deer grow more vigilant, meadows recover from overgrazing, and the ecosystem finds a new, delicate equilibrium. Expanding wilderness offers sanctuary. Here, animals adapt, some shifting their breeding times, others seeking cooler refuges among the cliffs and rivers. Each dawn reveals new beginnings. Fawns test their legs in dew-soaked grass, bear cubs discover the world's scents, and the chorus of birdsong signals another day of survival and change. Waterfalls carve new paths, meadows pulse with life, and the wild inhabitants shape the unfolding story of the land. Granite cliffs endure, silent through centuries of change. Sequoias stretch skyward, their roots deep in memory, sheltering the future beneath their boughs. In this ever-shifting wilderness, wildflowers bloom in unexpected places. Rivers mirror the steadfast peaks, and the promise of Yosemite's future endures, rooted in adaptation and alive with the quiet strength of the wild. As dusk settles over Yosemite, the last rays of sunlight slip behind granite cliffs, and the valley exhales a cool breath. Shadows stretch long and deep, painting the forest floor in indigo and silver. The golden glow dissolves, replaced by a silvery hush that settles over the pines. Moonlight spills across the land, transforming every branch and boulder into a sculpture of light and shadow. In this quiet hour, a hidden world stirs. The forest becomes a realm of moonbeams and secrets, where every rustle and whisper carries meaning. Beneath towering pines, sharp eyes glimmer, amber, emerald and gold, catching the moon's reflection. Silent witnesses peer from the undergrowth, their presence betrayed only by a fleeting glint. The great horned owl sits motionless, its silhouette merging with the gnarled bark. It listens, every feather tuned to the faintest tremor below. Suddenly it drops, a silent shadow gliding through the air. Wings outstretched, it snatches a vole from the leaf litter, talons closing with practiced precision. The only sound is the faint rustle of wings, gone as quickly as it came. Not far away, a bobcat emerges from the gloom, its fur dappled with moonlight and shadow. It moves with liquid grace, paws muffled by a carpet of pine needles, whiskers twitching at every scent. The bobcat pauses, muscles taut, as a distant coyote's howl ripples through the valley. Ears flick, eyes narrow, and the cat melts into the underbrush, vanishing as if it were never there. In the hush, deer press close to the shadows, their breath visible in the cool air. A rabbit crouches beneath a bush, heart pounding, while a fox glides through the grass, nose to the wind, every sense alive. Overhead, bats flicker through the moonlit sky, weaving and darting in pursuit of moths and mosquitoes. Their wings slice the air in rapid, erratic patterns, each movement a calculated hunt. Their high-pitched calls, inaudible to human ears, bounce from branch to branch, mapping the darkness in a symphony of echoes. They thread the tangled canopy with effortless precision. Deep in the tangled undergrowth, a spotted skunk performs its acrobatic handstand, tail arched high. Its bold display is a silent warning, a flash of black and white that signals danger to any who dare approach. The ringtail, Yosemite's elusive miner's cat, slips between granite boulders, nimble and unseen. It searches for insects and berries, its long tail balancing each delicate leap. All around, the night shapes its inhabitants. Each animal is sculpted by darkness, fur, feathers, and senses honed for survival in the moonlit wild. Eyes that pierce the gloom, whiskers that read the air, fur that melts into shadow. These are the tools of the night. Predator and prey move in a silent ballet, each step measured, every sound a signal. The ancient contest of survival plays out beneath the trees. Above, the stars wheel in silent arcs, casting a gentle glow over the valley. The Milky Way stretches across the sky, a river of light above the sleeping forest. For Yosemite's nocturnal creatures, the night is not a curtain, but a stage. Here, every movement is a story, every sound a clue, every shadow a possibility. In the stillness before dawn, the wild heart of the park beats on, hidden yet vibrant. The forest is alive with quiet purpose, every creature playing its part in the nocturnal symphony. As the first blush of sunrise touches the treetops, the night's actors vanish, leaving only footprints in the dew and echoes in the mist. A silent testament to the wild, untamed life that thrives when the world sleeps. As daylight breaks and the last shadows retreat, a hidden realm stirs, one shaped not by brute force, but by the ceaseless activity of countless tiny architects. Beneath every stone, within every meadow, and tucked in the folds of bark and leaf, Yosemite's insects awaken. Their world is a mosaic of microhabitats, each teeming with specialized life. Ants march in endless columns, weaving unseen highways through soil and moss. Some species cultivate underground fungus gardens, while others herd aphids for their sweet secretions. Their tireless work aerates the earth, turning and nourishing it. Ants redistribute seeds, clear away decaying matter, and defend their colonies with remarkable coordination. In the undergrowth, beetles of every hue scuttle and burrow. Bark beetles tunnel beneath tree bark, shaping the fate of entire forests, while carrion beetles recycle animal remains, returning nutrients to the soil. Above, dragonflies patrol sunlit streams, their iridescent wings flashing as they hunt for mosquitoes and gnats. Their compound eyes detect the faintest movement, making them formidable aerial hunters. Hidden in the shallows, dragonfly larvae lie in wait, ambushing prey with extendable jaws. These aquatic predators help regulate populations of other invertebrates, maintaining balance in the stream ecosystem. Nearby, butterflies and moths drift from blossom to blossom, their delicate bodies dusted with pollen. Some species mimic leaves or bark, evading predators with camouflage. In their search for nectar, they become unwitting pollinators, linking the fates of wildflowers and forests. Their migrations span valleys and peaks, connecting distant habitats. Even the smallest lives abound in a web of connection. Dung beetles bury animal droppings, enriching the soil, while springtails and mites break down leaf litter, fueling the cycle of decay and renewal. Aphids cluster on tender shoots, drawing sap and excreting honeydew, which attracts ants and wasps. Ladybugs, with their voracious appetites, keep aphid populations in check, preventing outbreaks that could devastate young plants. Spiders, patient architects, spin silken traps to capture the unwary. Their webs, strung between branches and leaves, glisten with morning dew, each strand a testament to precision and patience. Deep within fallen logs, termites silently dismantle what once was, transforming wood into fertile soil. Their gut microbes break down cellulose, making nutrients available to the entire forest. Insects are the silent engine of Yosemite. Decomposers, pollinators, predators and prey. Each species fills a niche, from the tiniest springtail to the armoured stag beetle. They sustain the food web, nourishing birds, bats, amphibians, and even bears that overturn logs in search of grubs. Every interaction weaves a thread in the park's intricate tapestry. For every wing beat and footfall there is purpose, for every tiny life a role to play. Some insects mimic twigs or stones, while others flash warning colours to deter would-be predators. As the sun climbs higher, the insect chorus swells, a hum of wings, a rustle in the grass, a world in perpetual motion. Some communicate with pheromones, others with vibrations or flashes of light. Though small and often unseen, these hidden architects sustain the wild heart of Yosemite. Their endless labour ensures that life here never truly sleeps, and that the forest's pulse beats on, season after season. High in the Sierra Nevada, ancient glaciers still feed hidden springs, releasing water that seeps from fractured granite and gathers into the first trickling streams. These newborn currents, cold and pure, begin a relentless journey, sculpting the very bones of Yosemite. As they descend, these streams merge and swell, weaving through forests of pine and fir, threading across sunlit meadows and plunging into shadowed canyons. The hydrology of Yosemite is a living system. Water infiltrates porous soils, seeps through cracks, and resurfaces in unexpected places, feeding a network of creeks and rivers that pulse with the seasons. Each spring, the snowpack, accumulated over long, silent winters, melts in a sudden rush. Waterfalls awaken in a thunderous chorus, their flow measured in thousands of gallons per second, their spray nourishing mosses and lichens clinging to the granite. Bridal Veil Fall leaps from its precipice, a shimmering veil that dances in the wind, its waters atomized into mist before they ever reach the rocks below. Yosemite Falls, the tallest in North America, thunders down 3 mighty tiers. Mist swirls over mossy boulders, and along the banks, young willows and alders bend beneath the spray, their roots anchored deep in the saturated earth, stabilizing banks and filtering the water. In the clear, oxygen-rich currents, rainbow trout glide between sun-dappled stones, their bodies perfectly adapted to the swift, cold water. Their scales flash with every twist as they hunt for drifting insects and evade the shadows of larger predators. The American dipper, a small slate-grey bird, bobs on slick river stones. With a sudden plunge, it vanishes beneath the surface, using its wings to swim against the current, searching for caddisfly larvae clinging to submerged rocks. Along the quieter pools, frogs emerge at dusk, their chorus echoing above the gentle murmur of water, a signal of healthy oxygenated streams. River otters, sleek and agile, slip through swirling eddies. They twist and tumble in playful pursuit, their sensitive whiskers detecting the faintest ripple of prey. At dawn, deer step softly from the forest, lowering their heads to drink from the cool, reflective surface, ever watchful for danger. Black bears, drawn by the promise of trout and tender shoots, wade into the shallows, their movements slow and deliberate. Dragonflies hover and dart above lily pads, their iridescent wings catching the morning light as they hunt for midges and mosquitoes. As summer deepens, the torrents recede, revealing beds of polished granite and emerald moss. Pools become mirrors, reflecting the sky and the towering cliffs above. Even in drought, the waterways endure. Fed by hidden springs and shaded by overhanging branches, they offer sanctuary to minnows, amphibians, and thirsty wildlife. When autumn storms sweep across the high country, rivers surge anew. Torrents carry leaves and seeds downstream, scouring old channels and carving new ones, redistributing nutrients and shaping habitats for the coming year. Through cycles of flood and drought, freeze and thaw, these waterways bind the landscape, linking granite heights to fertile valleys, sustaining a web of life that depends on their flow. They nourish forests, provide refuge for creatures both elusive and bold, and shape the contours of the land with every passing season. In every drop, the story of Yosemite's wild heart flows onward, restless, vital, and forever sculpting the world it touches. Above the granite cliffs and whispering pines, a tapestry of wings unfolds, each bird a vital thread in Yosemite's living mosaic. From the forest canopy to the rushing rivers, Yosemite's skies and woodlands are alive with an astonishing diversity of birds. Over 260 species find refuge here, each adapted to a unique ecological niche. The Steller's jay, with its electric blue plumage and bold crest, is both sentinel and scavenger. Agile and intelligent, it mimics the calls of hawks to warn its kin or deceive rivals, while foraging for seeds, insects, and even the eggs of other birds. Mountain chickadees, tiny yet tenacious, flit among snow-laden boughs. Their remarkable memory allows them to cache hundreds of seeds, recalling each hidden stash through the harshest winters, ensuring survival when food is scarce. As spring breathes new life into the valley, migratory birds return, drawn by the promise of abundant food and nesting sites. Swallows, masters of the air, arrive from distant wintering grounds. With split-second precision, they snatch insects mid-flight, their aerial ballets vital for controlling Yosemite's insect populations. Warblers, clad in dazzling yellows and greens, glean caterpillars and beetles from the fresh foliage. Their foraging helps keep trees healthy, curbing outbreaks of leaf-eating insects. The American dipper, Yosemite's aquatic songbird, braves icy torrents year-round. With waterproof plumage and a nictitating membrane, it dives beneath the surface, hunting aquatic insects and small fish, playing a crucial role in stream ecosystems. Black swifts nest in the spray-soaked crevices beside roaring waterfalls. Their nests, built from moss and mud, cling to sheer rock faces, where the constant mist shields their chicks from predators and the summer heat. High above, peregrine falcons patrol the cliffs. The world's fastest animal, a peregrine can stoop at over 200 miles per hour, striking unsuspecting prey in mid-air and helping regulate populations of smaller birds. At the forest's edge, great horned owls emerge at dusk. With silent wings and piercing talons, they hunt rodents and rabbits, shaping the balance between predator and prey beneath the cover of darkness. Woodpeckers, from the acorn to the pileated, chisel into ancient trunks. Their excavations create nesting cavities not only for themselves, but for bluebirds, bats, and countless other denizens of the forest. Nest building is a marvel of adaptation. Each species crafts a home suited to its needs, woven, sculpted, or hidden from view. Some, like the bush-tit, weave moss and lichen into soft camouflage pouches suspended from branches, protecting their young from both weather and watchful eyes. Others, such as nuthatches and chickadees, claim abandoned woodpecker holes, while grosbeaks and orioles balance their nests on the tips of swaying branches. As summer matures, fledglings emerge, some awkward, some bold, testing their wings for the first time. Each flight is a leap of faith, guided by instinct and the abundance of Yosemite's wild larder. Autumn brings transformation. Flocks of sparrows, finches and blackbirds gather in the woodlands, their numbers swelling as they prepare for the long journey ahead or settle in for the coming cold. Overhead, V-shaped skeins of Canada geese and sandhill cranes traverse the sunset, their calls echoing across the valley as they navigate ancient migratory routes. Tanagers, grosbeaks and vireos fatten on berries and insects, fueling up for epic journeys south, guided by the stars, the sun and the Earth's magnetic field. As winter settles in, new arrivals descend from the north. Juncos and siskins forage in the snow, their presence a reminder that Yosemite's forests never truly fall silent. Through storm and sunshine, drought and deluge, Yosemite's birds persist. Some, like the Clark's nutcracker, cache pine seeds for lean times, while others, such as the hermit thrush, fill the woods with ethereal song even in the chill of dawn. Their stories are etched in the wind, woven into the fabric of this ancient landscape. Each feathered life shapes the rhythms of forest, meadow and stream, carried ever onward by wings over granite. Beneath Yosemite's towering pines and ancient oaks, another kingdom thrives, one rarely seen, yet essential to all life above. Here, in the cool shadows and deep loamy soil, fungi weave a silent web, binding the forest together in ways both subtle and profound. Every autumn the forest floor transforms as mushrooms erupt overnight, delicate amanitas with crimson caps, sturdy boletes swelling beneath leaf litter, and ghostly white morels emerging after fire. Each fruiting body is merely the tip of a vast underground network, the mycelium. These thread-like filaments stretch for miles, infiltrating soil, rotting wood, and even living roots, forming a living tapestry beneath the surface. Fungi are nature's master recyclers. As dead leaves, fallen branches, and ancient logs accumulate, saprobic fungi dismantle them molecule by molecule. Their enzymes unlock nutrients trapped in tough plant fibers, releasing carbon, nitrogen, and phosphorus back into the earth. Without this endless decomposition, Yosemite's forests would choke beneath their own debris, and new growth would wither from hunger. But not all fungi feed alone. Mycorrhizal species forge intimate partnerships with the roots of trees, shrubs, and wildflowers. In exchange for sugars drawn from sunlight, these fungi extend their reach into the soil, gathering scarce water and minerals and channeling them back to their plant hosts. A single pine may be connected to dozens of fungal allies, while a single fungus can link entire groves, sharing resources, transmitting chemical signals, and warning of threats. Through this underground network, the health of one tree can influence the fate of many. Some fungi take on more dramatic roles. Parasitic forms invade weakened trees, hastening their decline and clearing space for new generations. Others form mutualistic alliances with insects, like the wood-boring beetles whose larvae are fed by special fungal gardens, or the leaf-cutter ants that cultivate fungus for nourishment. Even the smallest creatures, springtails, mites and beetles, rely on fungi as food and shelter, shaping the intricate food web of the forest floor. The diversity of Yosemite's fungi is staggering. Puffballs that release clouds of spores at the lightest touch, brittle coral fungi branching in vivid yellows and reds, and bioluminescent species that glow softly in the darkness, drawing in night-dwelling insects. Truffles, hidden deep in the duff, emit heady aromas that entice squirrels and chipmunks, who unearth and spread their spores far and wide. When fire sweeps through the forest, it is fungi that lead the recovery. Pyrophilous, or fire-loving, species burst forth in scorched earth, breaking down charred wood and paving the way for new plants to take root. In meadows and wetlands, symbiotic fungi help grasses withstand drought, while aquatic species decompose fallen branches in crystal streams, sustaining the cycles of life in water and soil alike. In Yosemite, fungi are not merely background players. They are architects of resilience, mediators of renewal, and unseen guardians of the wild. Their hidden networks pulse with life, shaping every leaf, every tree, every breath of the forest. In silence, they hold the threads that bind this ancient realm together, ensuring that Yosemite's story never ceases to unfold. Amidst Yosemite's sweeping vistas, a hidden patchwork of worlds exists, each carved not by time alone, but by the shifting breath of weather and stone. These are the microclimates, tiny distinct realms where the rules of survival are rewritten from one mossy boulder to the next. In the shadow of El Capitan, cool air pools at dawn, lingering in secret hollows long after the sun has crowned the granite. Here ferns unfurl in perpetual dampness, shielded from the midday heat by walls of stone. Lichens, silver and sage cling to the north faces, thriving where frost lingers and dew gathers thick. Just a short flight away, a sun-baked slope tells another story. Sagebrush and manzanita, with waxy leaves and deep roots, endure the harshness of relentless afternoon rays. Their stems store precious moisture, and their seeds sleep for years, waiting for just the right rain to spark a green eruption. Above the tree line, wind sculpts the landscape and life huddles low. Alpine plants, tiny lupines, cushion phlox, grow in tight clusters, their leaves edged with tiny hairs to trap warmth and ward off icy gusts. Pikas dart among the rocks, gathering grasses into hay piles before the first snow returns. Down in the valley, mist coils along the Merced River at sunrise. Willows and cottonwoods drink deeply from the alluvial soil, their roots tracing the memory of ancient floods. Songbirds time and their nesting to the arrival of spring melt, when insects swarm in the briefest windows of abundance. On granite domes, where rain runs off and soil is thin, only the hardiest survive. Jeffrey pines send taproots deep into cracks, drawing water from unseen reservoirs. Lizards bask on sun-warmed stone, their scales shifting from pale to dark, camouflage for both predator and prey. Even the weather itself becomes a living force. Afternoon thunderstorms roll in on summer winds, dropping rain in one corner while another bakes in sunlight. Fog slips in from distant valleys, cloaking some meadows in cool grey, while others blaze under a sapphire sky. Each microclimate is a crucible, testing, shaping and refining every living thing within its bounds. Plants twist, shrink or stretch, their forms sculpted by wind, sun and shadow. Animals tune their rhythms to these subtle cues. A deer browsing only where tender shoots persist, a butterfly laying eggs on the single milkweed patch that survives the drought. In Yosemite, survival is not just a matter of strength, but of exquisite timing and adaptation. Every pocket of wonder, from icy crevice to sunlit ridge, is a testament to nature's inventiveness, resilience, and endless diversity. Here the land whispers 1,000 stories, each as unique as the weather that shapes them and as fleeting as the dawn mist rising from the valley floor. Beneath Yosemite's storied cliffs and sunlit meadows lies a world few ever glimpse, a labyrinth of darkness, moisture, and quiet persistence. Here the roots of ancient pines and oaks thread through the soil like the veins of a living giant, probing deep into shadowed chambers in search of water and whispered minerals. Along these twisting pathways, the true architects of the underground thrive. Hidden from the light, networks of mycorrhizal fungi weave intimate alliances with tree roots, exchanging nutrients through an invisible barter system. It is here, in this silent commerce, that forests above are nourished and sustained. The earth teems with life. Blind beetles, their shells dusted with mineral grains, navigate the labyrinth by touch and scent. Pale millipedes coil through the damp loam, breaking down fallen leaves into the rich humus that feeds generations of growth above. Deeper still, narrow fissures open into cool, echoing caves. Stalactites drip with the slow patience of centuries, while pools collect the memory of ancient rains. In these sunless sanctuaries, ghostly salamanders glide along slick stone, their skin translucent, breathing the moist air. Bats cluster in hidden crevices, their heartbeats slowing with the chill, waiting for the darkness to bring them forth once more. Small mammals, shrews and voles, tunnel through the root-woven soil, forging secret highways between daylight and dark. Their passage stirs the earth, aerating it, carrying seeds and spores to hidden alcoves. Ground beetles patrol these corridors, their mandibles sharp, their movements silent as the sliding of a pebble through mud. Even the water here is alive. Underground streams, cold and clear, carve serpentine paths through granite and sand. Blind crustaceans drift with the current, their bodies adapted to perpetual night, sensing the world by the faintest tremor or chemical trace. These waters nourish roots from below, sustaining trees that may never know the touch of rain for months at a time. Above, the land may seem still, but below, every inch is in motion. Roots stretch, fungi spread, insects tunnel, and stone slowly yields to the gentle insistence of water and life. This is Yosemite's hidden engine, a realm of darkness and damp, where survival is a matter of patience and resourcefulness. In this secret world, life does not compete with the grandeur above. It sustains it quietly, persistently, and forever unseen. As the sun tilts in the sky and shadows lengthen across Yosemite's valleys, a stirring begins, a silent signal pulsing through fur, feather, and scale. The time for movement has come. Each spring and autumn, ancient instinct draws the park's inhabitants into journeys both perilous and profound. Mule deer, their coats dappling from grey to russet, gather at dawn's edge. They trace invisible corridors, routes etched over centuries, through forest and meadow, from the warm, sheltered lowlands to the cool, grassy reaches of the Sierra High country. Their hooves press new prints over the faded tracks of ancestors, threading past granite outcrops and across icy streams swollen with snowmelt. Along the way, mountain lions shadow their steps, silent and unseen, the balance of predator and prey shifting with every turn. Above, high in the crystalline air, the sky ripples with the wings of Vaux's swifts and black-throated grey warblers. These birds, some no heavier than a handful of pine needles, follow the green wave of leaf-out, feasting on new insects as they surge northward. Their journey is mapped not by landmarks, but by the pulse of daylight and the scent of blooming wildflowers, guiding them over waterfalls and forests to distant breeding grounds. Beneath the surface, trout sense the coming cold, turning upstream to spawn in gravel beds scoured clean by the relentless current. Their bodies shimmer in the filtered light, navigating a maze of boulders and rapids, each leap and surge a gamble against the river's strength. The challenges are many. Sudden storms sweep the high passes, forging barriers of ice and snow. Coyotes and bobcats prowl the margins, alert to the weak and weary. For some, the journey ends before it begins, a missed step, a flash of talon or tooth. Yet for the survivors, the prize is renewal, lush summer pastures, safe nesting sites, and the promise of another season's life. These migrations are not solitary epics, but the quiet choreography of an entire ecosystem. When deer graze new meadows, they trim young shoots, shaping the growth of willows and aspen. Their droppings scatter seeds far from parent trees, renewing the forest in their wake. The birds, flitting from bloom to bloom, pollinate wildflowers and spread insects across the land, balancing populations and fueling the next link in the food web. Even the trout, as they spawn and die, feed otters, bears, and the soil itself, their journey nourishing life far beyond the river's edge. In Yosemite, the Great Passage is a living thread, weaving together mountain and valley, predator and prey, root and wing. Each migration is a testament to resilience, a promise that no matter how harsh the season or how daunting the journey, life will find its way, and the wild heart of the park will beat on. Within Yosemite's wild tapestry, life is not lived alone. Every creature, from the mightiest bear to the tiniest mite, is linked by invisible alliances, some harmonious, others fraught, but all essential to the pulse of the park. Among the sun-dappled forests, the western grey squirrel becomes an unwitting gardener. As it buries acorns for future feasts, many are forgotten, germinating into new oaks. In return, the oak provides shelter and sustenance, a mutual pact, each thriving because of the other. Nearby, the bright blossoms of lupine beckon bumblebees with their sweet nectar. The bees, dusted in pollen, carry the promise of new flowers from stem to stem. This mutualism, favour for favour, ensures the survival of both bee and bloom. Yet not all partnerships are so balanced. High in the granite cliffs, tiny mosses cling to stone, creating moist niches where ferns can root. The ferns benefit, but the mosses remain unchanged, an act of commensalism, where one thrives and the other simply endures. Down by the river, rough-skinned newts glide through clear pools. On their backs ride water mites, hitchhiking to new habitats without harming their silent hosts. But Yosemite's web is laced with darker threads. Deep beneath the bark of ancient pines, the larvae of bark beetles tunnel unseen. The tree, weakened, becomes a banquet for the beetles, an act of parasitism that can leave scars across entire slopes. In the meadows, cowbirds lay their eggs in the nests of yellow warblers. The warbler, none the wiser, raises the imposter chick, often at the expense of its own. Even the fungi, hidden beneath layers of leaf litter, play double roles. Mycorrhizal fungi wrap themselves around tree roots, trading minerals for sugars in a silent, life-giving handshake. Yet elsewhere, parasitic moulds creep across leaves, draining vigour from their hosts and painting the forest with the subtle drama of survival. In every glade and shadow, these relationships, mutual, benign, or exploitative, crisscross like the roots of the oldest sequoias. Together they form a living network, each strand vital to the resilience and richness of Yosemite's wild kingdom. Here, survival is more than a solitary struggle. It is a story of connection, written in the language of the land itself.